tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Jessica Jones fans. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. It's time for the Jessica Jones After Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Whew. We're here to talk about episodes 7 and 8. And what an episode set that we have chosen to talk about today. A.K.A. Top Shelf Perverts and A.K.A. WWJD. I am your host, A.K.A. Zach Wilson, here to dissect this episode with my fantastic panel. Right next to me, Mark Donica is here.
Hi, Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter at SoapboxMark, A.K.A. the Drunk One. This is Emma Fyffe.
Yeah, it's me. That's correct. I'm Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet at Emma Fyffe, a.k.a. the reluctantly sober one. And this is Jesse.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Emma Fyffe. Hi, everyone. I'm Jesse Klein. You can find me at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1. And I'm A.K.A. I'm here.
We are all just... The chat room is even asking, is Mark okay?
I can't help but notice...
worried about Mark.
I can't help but notice the amount of alcohol consumed in and around me viewing these episodes.
Yeah.
It's just like seeing Jess just go. It's just like, I could use a drink.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the in and around.
During and before and after and through all time.
Sandwiched.
Musical Land says, LOL, he's in shock.
Yeah.
I think we all are.
Yes. No, it was
After
so
these
funny
episodes.
because I tweeted out earlier today. I was like, I'm so excited to get together with my Kilgrave support group. Like, I'm so happy to be doing this after show so I can talk to people about how it is emotionally ruining my life.
This is a show I feel like you should not watch alone
No.
and not have. Can you imagine just the people that have watched this show alone and then just not had anyone to talk to about
no
it?
friends
Tumblr.
to talk to about it. What do I do with all of these excess emotions?
You tune into the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show.
Exactly. That's what we're here for you.
I would say though this is a cross transmedia property. I hate using that word, but it's true.
You can see the hate in your face.
I hate using the word, but it's too accurate.
What's wrong with transmedia?
This is a type of a show where somebody who is a Marvel fan will go, "Is Jessica Jones awesome?" But also just the themes in it, you could share with anybody, and everybody should watch this show.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Because it's like, and again, it goes back to what we've said before on the show, that while, yes, Jessica Jones is a superhero, this show isn't really about her being a superhero.
Yeah.
It's about her not being a superhero.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to somebody about it today that hasn't seen the show yet, and I was just telling them about the show, and what really stuck out to me was, as I was having to describe the show to somebody who's not really doesn't know what it is, is that the show is really about those really dark parts of our world. It's about dealing with depression and rape victims and their attacker, and it's about a rape victim and her attacker having to deal with each other. But where that could be really heavy-handed and really hard to watch, because there's tons of Lifetime movies dealing with the same topic.
Oh, yes, there are.
And those movies are not watchable. They're not enjoyable. But this show manages to be enjoyable while still presenting you with those intense topics. And it's because of the superhero lens that lets you in on the ground floor with where it doesn't feel as heavy. It doesn't feel as heavy to watch it.
Yeah.
But it still gets the same message across. It still makes the same points and tells the same story that want to tell. And that's what I love about science fiction and fantasy shows like this, is that it can do those things without being like, hey, the world sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It does, but
I mean, that's what comic books and like any kind of thing, but like specifically it's a comic book show. But like comic books allow you to kind of address these kind of issues in a way that is super, like it's bigger than life, so you can make these bigger stories. I mean, when you talk about the X-Men, like they were originally like, you know, Professor X was Martin Luther King Jr. and, you know, Magneto was Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Like that was part of their story, is that it was about race relations going on. Like Superman was about being an immigrant in the United States and not knowing your place and like wishing you were more powerful than who you were. Like Spider-Man's about being a nerd who has like who knows that he can do
the only thing it's about.
Yeah, that's it.
it's about being a nerd who knows he can do good things if he's given the chance. And like I think that's why comic books still exist in a world where a lot of print media is dying. Like it's why these movies and books, as soon as studios started taking it seriously, why it transferred so easily into television and film, because it's mythology, it's Greek mythology, it's reflecting the human condition in a big way so that everyone can see what we're talking about.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
all right. So we've raved about the show enough. I think we needed to, because we're all excited.
Yeah. The last episode ended on a bombshell.
Oh, literally.
Yeah.
And viscera.
Yeah,
my
I mean,
God.
let's
Screw you, lingering camera.
let's go back to episode 7.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Top Shelf Pervert.
Episode 8. No,
Seven.
yeah,
Seven.
seven. Sorry, brain.
Mark's really traumatized.
No,
guys.
I am just, and something in chat threw me off too. Sorry.
Sorry, brain.
So what we're looking at here to start out is Kilgrave in Jessica's apartment. About as uncomfortable as you can get.
Oh my God, so uncomfortable. And then when poor Ruben showed up, I was like, no, precious baby Ruben, don't go in there. It was so bad.
It's like killing a puppy.
Yeah.
Like it was so. I was like, no, Kilgrave, don't.
Ooh.
It's like, I love her. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yep. And that reveal when she realized that he was dead, because basically, she came home. Malcolm helped her into the apartment. And I'm enjoying seeing this sort of role reversal with Malcolm and Jessica, because I think Malcolm is such an interesting character, and it's really nice to see how much faith he has in Jessica. But he helps her back to her apartment, and then she just lays in her bed, and then as soon as I saw the blood on her back, I was like, oh no, oh shit, that's where he is. He's dead in the bed with her. It was horrible.
It was The Godfather. It was so so gross.
It was horrifying and presented in this just hard to look at way, because of the way that this was shot was so just spot on, because of she falls in, and it felt normal. It felt like the same shots you would see in any other drunk character coming home after a long night. But then the red just fills the screen.
The first scene was a Hitchcock angle with the ceiling and looking down, and immediately you're immediately put just by where the camera's positioned, and then it just keeps going, and it's unrelenting, and it's just her crumpled in the corner after the reveal of Ruben dead was just so powerful.
Yeah.
God, Kilgrave is a real bummer.
Yeah.
Give Krysten Ritter
understatement of the year.
Give Krysten Ritter all the awards.
Just give them
all of them.
Give her a Tony. I don't care. Just give her an award.
I just want to, they haven't put Daredevil out on Blu-ray yet, right? But if they do it for Jessica Jones, just a box quote: Kilgrave's a real bummer. Jessica Klein. And you're
that's the first appearance of AfterBuzz on a review. It's
real
just
bummer.
Kilgrave's a real bummer.
Yep. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
Just it's a very light way of putting it.
That's a very, very, very light way of putting it.
And I mean, what we get as we move forward in this episode with Jessica and Kilgrave is, well, it's her plan. Like, she basically, after dealing with that, after seeing Ruben there, she is like, enough is enough.
She's off her rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she puts this on herself.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the thing is, even though, okay, you know, Jessica had this long connection to Kilgrave, and Kilgrave is still after her. So in some ways, you kind of go, how can you not blame yourself a little bit? Like, I feel that in this particular instance, like, she is an incredibly empathetic character because she's seeing all of these people getting killed by Kilgrave, and though, like, he is not controlling her and physically making her do it, it is all related to the fact that he is trying to get to her by not using his powers directly on her.
I mean, that's what these 2 episodes, like, the big theme that I saw across the 2 of them was, it's how much is your responsibility when you're just connected to another person. You cannot, and this is a big thing, you cannot control that person.
No.
Kilgrave, I mean, like, it's not on her. This is a bad person doing bad things.
Yes.
But it is all because of her, not her fault necessarily, but it is his feelings about her, what he wants to do to find her. So despite despite her best intentions or best desires, people will get hurt because of her.
Well, it's another example of his violation of her. That she has no say in what he is doing. He is controlling her still. He is not giving her any consent, any chance to have any of it. He is continually violating her by hurting people and taking away her choices. Like, even at that scene where they're in the police and skipping ahead in the police station, which was an amazing scene. We'll get to it. But, like, he says, like, I want this to be your choice. Knowing full well
and there's somebody right next to him with a gun to his own head.
Like I can't think of, like, and he's like, yeah, you'd come to me because you care about these people's lives, and he thinks that as soon as he leaves, that is going to leave her brain knowing that this is a person capable of that kind of stuff. Like, he still has taken away her choice. She did not choose to go home.
No.
That was his choice.
Well, that's the big thing, and so let's just jump into that. Like, let's not save it for later. We'll go back and we'll talk about what's her name, Dorothy, and all the other stuff that with
Malcolm
the tying up loose ends. We'll talk about this stuff, but let's talk about Jessica and Kilgrave. That's what I want to focus on right now, because that scene was such a powerful sequence when she, like, everything from bringing the head in and going into the interrogation room, and like, I think we were all sitting there, like, waiting for her to break those things. Like, put me in Supermax. Psh, you're gonna need to.
Just the match. Her in this episode is like, whose side were you on? Were you on Jessica's side or her friend's side? Did you think this was the right solution? Like, what you first suggested, I was like, that's a great idea. But as it started getting closer and closer, and she went deeper and deeper into that.
I was going to say, I think that ultimately I'm on Trish's side, but I understand why Jessica felt she needed to do what she attempted to do.
For
getting herself locked up.
Getting herself locked up in Supermax.
And again, Jessica is not like your grab bag superhero.
No.
Like, she's not a great tactician or incredibly smart or incredibly, like, good at fighting. Like, these are not things that she's trying to do what she can to limit the amount of people that get hurt. And she realizes the only way to do that is to literally put walls between her and the rest of the world. But I agree with Trish as well. Like, I think she's right now not in a good place to make decisions, and like she's just desperate. She's completely desperate. She's not sleeping. She's drinking all the time. Like, she's not making good decisions. Your body is wrecked.
Well, and Trish even says to her in their conversation about her plan, Jessica admits to Trish that it's a terrible plan. So,
but it's a plan.
But it's a plan.
There's one way that it could go right, and that's enough for her. But sorry, really quickly, did anybody else kind of freak out a bit when she said we will provide a public?
David Tennant is so charming in these 2 episodes. He's so goddamn likable. It's so annoying because I want to not like him, but when she's like, "What's the best thing? Like, you think we could hook up?" He's like, "It's a crazy world. It's a crazy weird world." I mean, look at the 2 of us. Like, crazier things have happened.
It's like superpowers, mind
And
control.
I was like, that was the doctor. That was the doctor talking right then. Why are you ruining my doctor?
And again, you know, this speaks to something else that we were talking about on the last episode where, like, Kilgrave, he legitimately believes that he is in love with her.
Oh, this is his big scene.
Yeah.
Like, the police station is like his big airport scene.
Yep. It is. No,
His
it totally
big
is.
airport?
You're
No,
like
it
rushing
is.
to
That's
the
like
airport
rushing to the
before she
airport.
flies away.
Before she flies away.
With
Yeah.
the flowers
Oh my
and the.
God.
Yeah.
Before you
That's
go.
what this is. This is his big airport
Yeah.
scene.
That's what's so twisted, and because we talked about this a little bit last week, just the idea that Kilgrave is in love in a weird, twisted way, and he said
Yeah.
it out loud, and like. You're right. I think Jesse. I think you're right. Obsessed is another way of putting it here. He definitely believes that he's in love.
Well, I think we learn in the next episode that I think emotionally and like socially, Kilgrave stopped at 10.
Yep.
And like that's what we're seeing here, because like even when she asks him like, "You've made my life horrible. You killed Ruben," and he's like, "Oh, that milquetoast guy," and like at first he's kind of flippant, but then he's
Yeah.
like, "I was leaving a present for you," and he interrupted me. Which is such like a 10-year-old thing where like if you do something bad, you're like, "But I was doing something else, and then you interrupted me." Like it's such a 10-year-old response. Like
Yeah.
you can,
There's plenty to talk about when we get to the next episode.
yeah, for
Ooh,
sure.
yep.
But like, I think what we see is like he has like what a 10-year-old thinks love is, and he even says
Yes.
like he says, "I'm new to love, but I've seen TV," which is what
Television.
which is
Yeah.
which is what 10-year-olds like. He has the
Right.
Disney idea of love with Jessica. Like he knows love because he's watched television, but he doesn't know what it is. He's never had a relationship.
No.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, but it's fascinating just because you can tell that this is like what this is the best he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and it speaks volumes about his character as well, that he's, from his perspective, him not using his sort of pheromone, mind control, suggestion power, whatever it is that his power is on Jessica, is to him like, well, she's making her own choices. Even though he's forcing her to make the decisions that he wants her to make, but he cannot see that.
You can't. For him, like there is no better, grander gesture that he could make.
And again, that goes back to Jesse, what you were saying about him having this like stunted growth where he like stopped maturing at 10. He sees, well, I'm not gonna do the really, really easy way to get what I want, but I need to get what I want, so I'm gonna do it this other way. But because I'm not directly influencing her, that means that like she's making her own choices and she's totally in love with me. So convoluted.
It's like when you're a kid and you do the bare minimum of a chore so you can get your reward.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's doing. He's like doing like, I'm still controlling you, but I'm doing it in this long way, so it's technically not the thing you hate.
Yes.
He knows what getting exactly what you want feels like.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to earn it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So he tries to he does his twisted version of making sure people feel the way he does.
Yep.
Which still isn't okay.
No, nothing about anything that Kilgrave does is okay.
Like him.
Well, Seamus in the chat roll says it was funny how they tried to humanize him.
You what?
And I think that's what's been so fascinating about watching this character is that he is absolutely human. And like let's include the episode 8's story while we talk about this, because there's so much that we get into there, and it's all together in my head.
Yeah.
But that like video of him as a kid so informed who this character is, and that he just, and really what it like that combined with what he says about how he has to carefully pick his words.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful what he says to people because he never knows. If he tells someone to do something, he cannot tell the difference between whether he told them to or whether they're doing it of their own accord. It is not a power that he can turn off.
No.
When your parents, which are supposed to be the people that are the only ones that you're guaranteed unconditional love, when they're the people that are your abusers, it is so hard to see what real love is. And to have that happen and then have this power where you don't know if people are being genuine with you ever in your life, like, of course this guy is super screwed up. I'm not saying it justifies any of his actions, but it definitely colors him. It's not so black and white. It's a little bit more purple. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later.
Yeah, you're fired.
Good, we have somebody to fill that chair.
No, but that's the thing and that's why I think a lot of people have been saying, I've seen a lot of articles that are like Kilgrave might be Marvel's greatest villain yet. Because he really is the scariest villain.
So scary.
I find him way scarier than Red Skull or
yeah.
Ultron.
I mean, I said it in the last Daredevil show. Kingpin is the scariest Marvel villain, and now Kilgrave is one-upping that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the thing as well, is like, he's not just evil. Like,
No.
if he was just like a guy who was like,
Mustache
I'm going to take all the money and then I'll have all of you and I'm going to make a death laser, like, it'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But he's not just evil. He's a very mixed bag.
Yeah, and the thing that is interesting about Kilgrave, and I mean, this is something that is, you know, typified by most villains, that he is incredibly self-centered, but like Kilgrave just wants what Kilgrave wants. In my opinion, Kilgrave has no like grandiose plans of world dominations.
No.
Kilgrave just finds the things that he wants and goes after them in an obsessive, creepy, twisted way, as we're seeing with Jessica.
Yeah, well, to Jesse's point earlier, he's a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
If he Arrested Development to
Exactly.
the nth degree, a 10-year-old doesn't want anything more. A 10-year-old doesn't want to take over the world.
Exactly.
They just want to do the first thing they think of.
Yeah.
You know what I feel like doing today? I'm gonna play video games all day.
Exactly. Yeah. Their scope of their like scope does not include the whole world. It really only includes them and what is going to immediately satisfy their needs, wants, desires, and that's exactly what we see with Kilgrave.
And what makes him so interesting is that he's a genius.
Yeah.
So he's emotionally a 10-year-old, but intelligence-wise, he's smarter than most.
And he is a little bit of a tactician, definitely more so than Jessica is.
For sure.
yeah.
But well, like, just seeing the last two episodes, this thing where like he has the couriers talking to each other, like being able to keep control of those moving parts, for sure. He's got a brain on him.
Yeah.
Because I think he learned, like, because he would have never had to go to college or anything. Maybe he did. He like went into admissions at like Harvard. And he's like, I'm gonna go to
You're
this
going
school.
to accept me to this school.
Here's your acceptance letter.
Super quick.
Yeah. But he never really needed to learn anything or to
That's
use
true.
that
That's
to get
absolutely
ahead.
true.
But what he has learned is the street level tactics of using his powers and the dynamics of, okay, if I tell this person to go do this, they're only going to do it if I do this. And that's only going to work on another person if I do this. He's probably one of the smartest psychological villains at play right now.
Yeah.
On television or film. Because of how much he needs to know how a person thinks and works and control it with that.
Absolutely.
And yet the 10-year-old rationale, like when the heavy discussion in episode 8 of you raped me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that whole conversation.
Oh my
and yet
God.
all that he can say is like, you made me kill somebody. He's like, I just told you to get rid of her. You did the rest. Like that's
Right. Well, and him also saying like, well, I don't understand why you're so mad at me. We stayed at all these 5-star hotels. We ate in all the best restaurants. We did exactly everything that you wanted to do. And Jessica, her response is, except that I didn't want to do any of that.
Which is pretty much verbatim in a lot of high-profile rape cases, like that's pretty much verbatim what you hear. Is like, I bought her dinner. We were on a date. Like that was thought that was what was happening.
Well,
and
she wanted to.
Yeah, she wanted it.
But, like, you can't say what the person wanted.
Right, because there is this sense of entitlement that goes into those high-profile rape cases where basically you have these people saying, I did all of these things for this woman because they have this perception in their head of, like, this is what women want. They want to be pampered and you know, taken care of like this. And well, I did all of these things for them, and therefore now I am entitled to have them sexually because I have earned them. Basically,
I paid for it.
Yeah,
it's not a math equation.
No,
and they see it as a math equation. It's I added all of these things up, and now I get my reward. And it's not that. It's another human.
Disgusting.
It's incredibly disgusting, but it's exactly how Kilgrave feels. Like it's exactly. He's like, I pampered you. Like all of that stuff. Like I
gave you what every woman wants.
Exactly.
Right. But it's not what Jessica wanted.
Yeah. And it's disgusting, and it's so crazy to see it in a comic book like TV series, and it's crazy to see it handled in such a way where I never felt like it was like, take a look at yourself, America, and like it never felt like that. It felt like a genuine discussion that two people were having where one person could not see the other's point of view.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing, is that I think what Kilgrave was really getting is like, she may have wanted these things, the 5-star hotel room. She wanted to go out to these nice dinners. She wanted to have that life, but it wasn't. If he had approached her as a person, right, with like, because they did have such similar struggles, especially as youths growing up, and that's what we see in this episode is that they both, like, once Jessica lost her family, we see that whole thing of like an overbearing parent in Dorothy,
Patsy's mom,
who is controlling and says, you do this, I don't care about what you want to do, you're going to do this for me, basically. Dorothy is very much a very similar version of what Kilgrave's parents are. And that's very intentional on the part of the writers.
I totally agree. In that flashback scene where Jessica first gets picked up from her old house by Dorothy and Patsy's in the front of the car, and you just see that welt on her neck.
Yeah.
Ooh, that woman is crazy. Go ahead.
This was kind of a bit of a switcheroo from what they tried to present in Spider-Man 3, which was similar upbringing, different types of parentage, and where Kilgrave started with the terrible parentage and then got rid of it, and Jessica started at least with the loving family, and then transferred into it, and it can tweak you, mess with you.
While we're talking about Spider-Man, just to lighten the mood for a second, I have some Jessica Jones trivia, which is in New Avengers, when everyone is revealing their secret identities. Spider-Man reveals himself as Peter Parker, and Jessica Jones goes like, "No way! We went to high school together. I had the biggest crush on you, and I never said anything."
Because they lived by each other, right?
They lived by each other, and Luke Cage gets really upset. Because in the comic books at that point, they're married and have a baby, and he's really upset.
Oh, come on, Luke, that guy.
Yeah.
We see that story in Alias, right? I'm pretty sure we see this whole thing where she has a crush on him, and she's like about to, like, she's like at the museum when he gets, and she's like about to talk to him when he gets bit.
And she's just like the side story to Peter Parker.
That's so cute.
There's all kinds of superheroes at the moment at the museum that day. There's like Spider-Man was there, obviously, and then Jessica Jones in the background. Silk was there, getting also bit. Whole other thing in the comics.
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
Technically.
That's a different universe. All right. Back on track. Don't get me started talking about Spider-Man. It's real dangerous.
Back to sadness.
Okay. But let's get into, just because we started talking about it, let's get into Dorothy's storyline. It was very brief.
Yeah.
But we really got more about, this was really about Trish's upbringing, about, and how Jessica became involved in all of that, and that she was adopted. We knew she was adopted, but now we see the circumstances that it really was a publicity move on the part of Trish's mom.
Yeah, to further her daughter's career. Oh, look at this, altruistic move. We're taking in this poor homeless orphan.
Patsy's gonna be her friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It also takes the attention off of possible headlines of Patsy being abused. Because it's like, no, how? If her mother's so caring as
She's
to
so
adopt
kind,
another
yeah.
girl.
She just took in this stranger's child.
I mean, again, it's we keep harking on it, but it's thematically so in touch with the show where Patsy grew up and did not have any choice.
Yeah.
Patsy grew up and she was a way for her mother to make money and did not have choice in it. And her mom would say, what other girl was making millions of dollars, and like who else would, like, America loved you, and like, you're welcome, I gave you a roof over your head. And I'm sure Trish would argue, I didn't want any of that. You never asked me if I wanted any of that.
Yeah.
Like, I had no choice.
Yeah, there's a parallel there with it brings up a couple interesting questions. So obviously there's a bit of a parallel between Dorothy and Kilgrave with their complete inability to understand other human beings and what they want. But you also see that parallel of, we find out that Kilgrave was not given a choice, and neither was Trish. But it's interesting to see that Trish grew up to be this person with a very strong sense of justice who really wants to be a hero.
Yeah.
And Kilgrave grew up to be a sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both...
At the very least.
Well, the difference is that, I guess, well, the big obvious difference is that Kilgrave had powers.
Yeah.
And that, like, could let him be that hero. Trish
Yeah.
didn't. So it was really that she aspired to be something that she wasn't, and Kilgrave just, like, he had it, and it drove him nuts. The people with powers in this show are the most emotionally messed up.
They are.
Luke Cage may be the least so.
And so we know.
I mean,
He's got a little emotional
the guy dealing
baggage.
with his dead wife.
Yeah.
Well, but he's grieving. There's a
Yeah.
difference between grieving and having
Fair enough.
emotional...
Being broken.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, I think also, and I think this is important, is that Trish had a friend. Trish, I mean, even though they might have started off rocky, we find out that they at some point become very close.
Yeah.
And that Kilgrave did not have someone like that.
Yeah.
And so Trish at least had someone to, and I bet maybe later on we see Trish defending Jessica, like, from her mom, and like that's why Trish has this kind of ingrown sense of justice and what's right and what's wrong, and she's really the superhero in this entire story, is because she, like, believes in this kind of thing, and it's probably because she was helping defend Jessica.
Yeah.
Who's this orphan living in this abusive family.
As great as the lead characters are in the series, it's the best friend character that we can all identify with and serve as a gateway in.
Yeah.
Same thing with Foggy.
Yeah,
Same thing with Foggy.
absolutely.
And it's, I hope we get to see Hellcat.
I mean, that thing is, everyone in the chat roll is like music land, like, she's Hellcat.
Yeah.
She
is.
Jesus is, yeah, Hellcat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she
then
is.
also just Trish is hot.
Sure. Thanks,
It's
Fergie.
hot! She has a whole...
On that, I mean, we see her.
You cut me off at a very awkward moment.
Not for her.
She's very lovely.
We see with her character her lack of, like, her wanting to have control, but her not having the ability to use it. And we saw a scene that was a gratuitous sex scene, but it was important for her character because, again, she's controlling that situation.
Yeah.
I will argue that that was not gratuitous.
Not gratuitous,
No,
just like a sex scene.
Specifically, it was overt, but as you say, Jesse, it was important for her character development because it was her taking control of a situation. And I feel like it's especially important in this series to see scenes of, like, women taking control of their sexuality because it's so much about how Jessica's was taken away.
Yeah. It was. You're right. That's a big parallel.
This is direct. Like, this is, you were trying to choke me and kill me, and I am taking my control back over you in this way, but still, I am taking my control back of myself, of you in this situation.
I mean, she literally, like, she pins his hands to the headboard. Not, like, with cuffs or anything. Although I feel like they're only one step removed.
It's real close.
Bring your gimmicks. Bring your goodie bag.
but she needs that, I think. And and again, like people, we were talking about somebody who had started watching the show, like a friend of like somebody here at AfterBuzz, and they were just saying like, I don't like this. The characters make all these bad decisions, and like, yeah, but they make believable decisions.
Yeah.
They make
They're
decisions.
superhuman people.
And that's what this show is really doing, is it's showing us these real people and the dirtiest, just not in just like the sexy dirty way, but like just like the grimy parts of what it is to be a human being, and that is. Your sexual desires are driven by your traumas a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And for Trish, it is like, no, I need to be in control at all times or I will not feel comfortable. I will not enjoy this.
And unfortunately, Wil takes it away from her again. They make a plan.
Yes.
They make a plan.
He was so mad at him.
He and his boys... Like literally, like it's
his man's in them.
Like it's literally him deciding to like walk away from the feminine and go with his boys and do something without talking to her, not responding to her, just disappearing,
lying right to her.
Lying,
I'll let you know when I see Kilgrave.
And he's literally looking at him.
Right at him. Like it's like, again, she's getting her power taken away from her.
Yeah.
And it's a real, like, there's got to be a breaking point for Trish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, getting, like, now knowing what we do with the police, the police station scene, he could have stopped him from going to that police station. That's where he was going. That makes me even more mad at him.
Yeah.
Piece of garbage.
No, he was making...
I'd hate to meet him face to face.
He was making very bad decisions in this episode.
I would say so many things to him face to face.
Yeah, the character of Wil Simpson, not the actor.
Yes. Yeah. If only I could ask him what he was thinking.
I think that's a good enough segue as we'll ever get to talk to you guys about iTunes, and be sure to stick around for the special announcement that is like, if you haven't figured it out now, we'll officially announce it after this important
this important word from our sponsor.
But it's not. It's just I want to thank some people who've been nice enough to rate us and review us on iTunes. And if you guys can do the same, go onto iTunes, hit subscribe to the show. It makes a big difference. Rate the show. It helps us out. It helps keep the show visible. Helps people find it. So much so that we're ranked as high as number 8 in all of iTunes film and TV podcasts.
Guys, which
is insane.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
We were in the new and noteworthy today for film and TV.
Yeah.
Guys.
On the front page.
Yeah.
On the front
page of iTunes.
You're amazing.
So there's so many reviews that I have to give out. So I'll shout out a couple as much as I can. Battle Girl Deb, I guess, also a fan of like our others. Jesse, Zach, and Marvel, always a good time.
All right.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it's wonderful.
We're here too.
We're talking about S.H.I.E.L.D. every week. We don't shut up about Marvel. Inuyasha Boy, big fan of Jessica Jones series on Netflix, just like Daredevil. Jessica Jones continues to amaze me. Moon Cow 33, I am loving watching you guys. Beatrice Gold, one of my favorite podcasts. But she watched the whole season.
That's okay.
Who? Just says cool. And that's all you have to write. You really just have to. You can write just a few words of a review.
I enjoyed my time.
And Melissa D. Arnold says, A.K.A. a gifted, in quotes, a gifted panel. Another wonderful after show for AfterBuzz. As a massive super fan for all things MCU, I love that this panel examines everything in the episodes the way they do. Super satisfying panel each week. Zach, keep rocking that infinity scarf, which I left at home today. So now I feel bad. Emma's got the scarf.
I do. It's not an infinity scarf, but it's a lightweight summer version.
I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back. All right, so
it's like 85 in Los Angeles.
It's not cold here.
It might be December, but it's real warm. This sweater is like too much. I bought it in because I needed to feel comfortable. So the announcement.
Big announcement.
This is gonna be fun, you guys. Next week. It is Monday, December 14th, at this time at 3 p.m., we're going to have Wil Traval, A.K.A. Will Simpson.
Will Simpson!
In the chat. He's going to join us live in the studio to talk about episodes 11 and 12.
Yeah.
He's going to be joining us. I'm super excited,
I'm so
to talk about his
excited.
character. Maybe by then we'll be able to confirm whether or not he is Nuke.
Yeah.
Which this episode sort of like...
I feel
Seems pretty clear.
Is like...
seems nukey.
Yeah.
He literally... he planted a bomb. Like,
Also, the end of the episode left him where he might be needing a couple of
Could
enhancements.
use some enhancements.
maybe
little bit of
his
work.
face could use some color
Some work.
filled
You
in.
know what? You should get some red, white, and blue pills and really work on it.
Just he looks like he needs some face paint.
Yeah.
He does.
He's got a face for face paint.
Yeah.
Um,
and then the next episode, Wednesday, the director of 1,000 Cuts,
AKA 1,000 Cuts.
Rosemary Rodriguez is going to call in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun couple episodes.
We've got 2 really awesome guests, and we can't get them unless you guys leave ratings and stuff like that. Like that's why we get these guests.
Well, we did get these guys, but we got it thanks to you. I'm not
yes.
just to be
I'm
clear.
I'm not giving a.
They're not coming on unless you leave a
an
damn review.
ultimatum. I'm not forcing your decision. I'm saying the reason why we get guests like this is because of our iTunes ratings. And stuff like that.
It really is a big help. And if you're on iTunes, if you're on YouTube, also go and hit the thumbs up. Be subscribed to AfterBuzz TV. You can also subscribe to us on SoundCloud, whichever way you're listening to us. Let us know that you're watching.
Please do.
And tweet at us throughout the week. We love talking Jessica Jones with you guys.
Yeah.
As long as it's the episode that we're up to.
Exactly.
Up to a certain episode.
Don't
yes.
spoil it for us.
Okay. Let's
Get
dive
back into.
in. Okay.
Let's dive in. We've
Back
been
in.
talking for 45 minutes.
Okay.
But now,
All right.
Now we're gonna dive
we're
in.
going to dive in.
Okay. Why don't we? Where should we even begin to go back into this episode? Well, let's finish talking about Will Simpson and like the explosion we were just talking about. So like he broke into the house to plant a bomb.
I'm frustrated with him because I feel like haven't you learned? I mean, Jessica straight up said to him, "You know nothing about Kilgrave. You know nothing." And he still is trying to act like he knows how to handle Kilgrave, and he can't. And he can't get it through his head that he can't kill Kilgrave until Hope is out of jail.
Well, because to him, I mean, this is the.
It's very pragmatic.
Yeah, there is a logic to it though, because Ruben would be alive if they had killed him, and
That is
like
true.
regardless of Hope. So, is it better to let Hope suffer, but to save however many people he may or may not kill in the meantime?
Yeah.
He might have killed those two chefs that he's keeping prisoner.
Yes.
They're basically prisoner. He's paying them, sort of. I think.
But they also have razors that they bring to their neck if anything breaks.
Yeah, and they're not allowed to blink until Jessica gets
comes
back.
back.
Home.
Even though the chef clearly did. Like there was a shot who's like, "Oh, don't make me do it."
I mean, physically, you can't just unless they were like literally just like
Yeah. We get the gist.
you didn't need me doing more of that.
I mean, that it's an argument that gets talked about a lot. Would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler? Like, would you? Number one, as a baby, don't kill baby. But would you? Is it worth it to do a bad action to prevent more bad actions, or does it continue like the cycle of death and killing? It's again very prominent right now in the United States. Like a lot of what's going on right now, is violence, like a violence to prevent something that might also be violent, worth it? What's its worth?
Yeah.
How much freedom are you willing to give up in exchange for safety? It's a constant question. It's a constant balancing act that we have to find, and it's also the big balancing act that Jessica is faced with in episode 8 when she's presented with the idea of what if you could use Kilgrave and Kilgrave's powers for good.
Well, I mean, just seeing that when he's like, I didn't even realize that making the guy kill himself was a bad thing. And I don't think he was being manipulative there. I think he was genuinely saying, like, you saved me from doing something bad.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize, I need you around because I don't know when I'm doing something wrong. And I genuinely believe him. I think because he's a 10-year-old, Like when you're a 10-year-old, you're like, yeah, bad guys die. Like when you're playing with your toys or whatever, you're like, just kill the bad guys, and then that's the answer to all of your problems.
It's a very Frank Castle way of thinking.
It's a very Frank Castle way of thinking, but it's also just it's an unnuanced, very pragmatic way of thinking. Whereas if all the bad guys didn't exist, then there would be no bad actions.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's not how anything works.
It's not. Oh man. I'm seeing, I don't know if any of you guys watch anime at all, but I'm seeing like major Death Note parallels here, where basically it was kind of the same thing with a character who was given the opportunity to kill people, and he was just killing criminals. Very much like we're saying, you know, that I'm sure Kilgrave started with, oh, well, if you get rid of the, you know, in his thought process in this scene in particular, I'm going to get rid of the person that was trying to do the bad thing, and that's going to just resolve everything. But that, again, that is a very, very simplistic view of the world.
And it's a very Will Simpson way of seeing the world as well.
Yeah, it is.
Did you guys see the parallel of the Barbie house on fire with all of the soldiers melting at the end of it? When he talks about how like he would play with his soldiers and they would all be melting because... Of course, that's what you do. You save the girl and all the soldiers die. That's what they're for. And then the final shot is the fire next to the house, and all of the so painful lingering camera. Just cut it. Just cut the camera after the explosion.
With like
the body
severed
parts.
arms in the street.
I like the word viscera.
Viscera.
Pretty great.
Yeah, human debris all over the place. And it was like that, I think Will Simpson's going to be pissed, but I think that's kind of the death Will Simpson wants.
Yeah.
Is like this fiery doom.
Yeah, if he's ex-military, I'm assuming dealing with PTSD and like similar to what Jessica's going through, but very different experience.
Yeah.
And then he's coming back from war, and like becoming a cop puts you on a different type of front line, but you're dealing with civilians and all the things that the civilian world needs to be, and is different from being in a war zone.
And not just that, but coming off of the mind control has messed with his head.
Yeah.
Like he's super tweaked with what a realistic worldview is.
And he's also, why he so violently wants to get rid of Kilgrave by any means necessary is, I think you're right. He's struggling with that idea of like, I lost control and I was going to kill people. I almost killed a woman who now I'm getting some very good nighttime stuff from.
Le petit mort.
And
it's French for boning.
Whatever it takes to stop him, I need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a good motivation.
It is.
Even if his methods are bad.
Yeah, and it goes back to that idea of like, if you eliminate the bad people, then all the bad stuff goes away. But the problem is eliminating Kilgrave actually leaves all of his victims to deal forever with the repercussions of being under his control, because there's no way to prove that he exists. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. Now Jessica has that USB drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was in the box that they dug
the present
up.
He left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That scene, by the way, when she was looking for the present that he left her in her apartment, was so freaky. And I thought it was just shot in such a... First of all, the show does a really, really good job of sort of framing things more or less from Jessica's perspective, or from Kilgrave's perspective of him constantly watching Jessica. But that scene when she's like, I felt like I was in it. Like I was right there with her, like searching for this item, and the music was very the music was very unnerving.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any other things that we need to cover before we get out of here, you guys? We've talked. There's a lot of stuff.
Ruben's sister.
Yes.
The dealing with Ruben's body, all of that stuff was so heartbreaking.
I know.
To see this codependent couple, again, another form of kind of abuse and need, is like this codependent brother sister that needed each other, and to see her without her brother, like this weird character that we thought was kind of funny before, and now really humanizing her and hurting her needing her brother, like so painful and so important to this story to see the collateral damage that is happening.
Yeah. I mean, the scenes with her, especially, when she was coming to Jessica saying, like, you can help me. You know where my brother is. I have money. Like, I will find him for me. And it's so heartbreaking because obviously Jessica knows what happens to him. She found him dead in her apartment. And just the sort of disconnect that happens there with Jessica just kind of brushing by her and not even addressing it.
She was trying.
Yeah.
The look on her face was, I have to tell her.
I have to
and
tell
then
her.
when she started just super freaking out, can't do it.
Yeah.
A note from the booth for Wil. Maybe since he was from military, he was thinking sacrifice a few to save many, which is common in war.
Yeah, but philosophically has been disproven as not the way to go forward. Like, sacrificing any is an unacceptable. Like, death only begets more death.
Yeah, but there's a cold-hearted logic to it that I think that is very much going to drive forward his story.
Yeah.
Whether it's in this series or another, if he is actually Nuke, and we do find that out, like, there's every reason to believe that he would carry into any number of other shows or even movies.
Especially with Punisher coming into Daredevil season 2.
Yeah. Because Nuke is primarily in the comics a Daredevil villain.
Yeah.
Isn't he in number 1? Wasn't he in Daredevil number 1?
Was he? I don't
know.
No? Okay, sorry.
I don't know about that, but he is an early
Daredevil
villain.
Okay. And like Nuke and the Punisher and Captain America have some amazing kind of dialogue between the three of them about their sense of justice. And because the Punisher thinks very similarly to Nuke, they've got a similar style of philosophy, and Captain America kind of fights that with like what he believes is correct, and that killing should never be the first option. It shouldn't be the 50th option. It should be the last option every time. And they don't share that. And there are many times where the Punisher is like, "Look, Cap, I killed for you," and he beats the crap out of the Punisher. Like, it's never good.
And yeah, Punisher was on Cap's side for Civil War.
Yeah,
like,
but
there's
not
still
that's one of the times he beats the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Again, because it is all rooted in that sense of justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other stuff, just like talking about justice, we see Hogarth struggling with how to properly
We didn't
handle
even talk
her,
about Hogarth.
know.
divorce. And I mean, there's not a lot to cover here because I think this is a storyline that we're going to see paid off more
Yes,
down the
I
line.
agree.
Intimidating
But-
the wife.
Yeah,
Trying to get her to...
But where I want to, what I want to talk
Dropping her
about with
to-
that whole sequence is Jessica and the train, and like we know that she's just trying to she's drunk and she's trying to get the job done, threatening Wendy, I believe it
Yes,
was.
Wendy is her name.
But when she drops her and she gets down, she throws her back on the platform. There's that moment when she's staring down
The train.
And there's a few options. She could drop down and go under it.
Yep.
She could just let it. And part of me thought she was gonna let it hit her and
Same
then
here.
like walk away.
Right, yeah.
But like she said to Luke, can you stop a moving car? Well, a slow moving car. So I don't know that she could survive being hit by a subway car.
I don't know if she wanted to at that moment.
No, but I think she
Yeah.
wanted to feel the fear of almost death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's really what it was.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking, since what happened the episode before, I think there's a part of her that kind of was like, what if this train just hits me and all of this is over?
Well, and this is something that she says a couple of times in the Alias comics, that I just want to feel something else. So I think that that's completely legitimate, that like she would want that rush of what if this train hit me?
I'll give you some quick hits for episode 8. The dress beat where he gives her a dress and she rips it up. Like, again, that's a very much like male power dynamic. Like, I gave you a gift and you didn't want it. I don't understand.
Why aren't you wearing what I wanted you?
Yeah, the nosy neighbor was so weird and satisfying, and like I hated being satisfied by it.
Yeah,
when
but
he
it
manipulated her.
And yet despite all of that, she didn't deserve to be exploded.
No.
And the thing is that it was a very unnerving scene, because I found myself in that scene siding with Kilgrave.
Yeah.
When she's like, "Oh, I had this terrible feeling that something was going to happen."
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
whoo, and then he makes her, and she confesses, no, I didn't. And she says, I did it because it makes me feel important.
Yeah.
That was heavy. That was
Super
so heavy. And yet, like, people do that. And the fact that Kilgrave called that out, I appreciated that. And I felt horrible about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that entire thing, like, again, it's like Kilgrave, incredibly charming in the house, the make a go of it. It's a weird wide world out there, and we're two people with powers. Like, who knows? Like, he sees them as star-crossed lovers. Like, it's fate that he ran into her, and it's fate, and it's crazy. And the fact that he recreated her entire childhood house based off pictures that they
creepy.
had. Also, I had Jessica Jones's bedroom, by the way. Like, that was my bedroom. I had all those posters. I had the Peppers, I had Nirvana, and I had the big Dookie poster. Like, I had all of those posters.
Did you have a lava lamp, too?
Oh, I had a lava lamp.
I mean, just the line, I'm the only one who matches you.
Yeah, exactly. He sees them as these people destined for each other.
Yeah. It's frightening. It's horrifying, and you cannot look away.
No.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about it. Sounded like a wrap up, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think one of the biggest things to take away from these two episodes is that it looked like the both of them were trying to change in some way, shape, or form to change to make the other person better. Like Jessica literally wanting to make Kilgrave a better person, and Kilgrave wanting to make Jessica better for him. And then at the very end, they're the exact same people, and they cannot change.
And
Yep.
And I mean, Jessica actually has a good. I mean, she knocks out the staff so that they don't kill themselves. And like Jessica, Jessica has Kilgrave now.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
she super jumped away, and now
She tricked him into eating Chinese food, and just right in the neck. Yeah. So I guess probably not flu. I think we have established she can fly in this
world.
In this world.
She's more like controlled falling.
Yeah, as she put it, which is great. And I mean, she's literally flying away with him to do God only knows what.
I'll take him to the room.
Take the
probably.
room.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think she's just getting him right in there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be, I
Only
want to
place you
see
can
that
trust.
conversation,
I know.
and we can now because we finished this podcast.
We're all going home to watch it.
Yeah,
I'm staying
and
here
so-
watching wrestling. I don't know. What you
So
guys.
I think that's gonna do it for us here at AfterBuzz TV. There was some cool news and stuff, but we don't have time for it today.
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist. Tune in to tomorrow night, Tuesday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where Jesse and I, assuming we have time after whatever's going to happen tomorrow,
We have no idea.
We'll try to find some time to discuss Iron Fist and the news there.
It's a mid-season finale, right?
TV. It is the mid-season finale.
Good luck.
So,
I know.
Lord help us. Until then, do you guys have any final thoughts, or just as you wrap up, just your last thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts are this show hits on a lot of heavy material, and I'm glad that we kind of have an opportunity to kind of air it out in this show. And it is, you were right, this is our Kilgrave support group. And you can find me doing comedy all over Los Angeles. And
Support him.
And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number one.
My final thoughts in regards to these episodes specifically was, that scene with Malcolm trying to drown the body of poor Ruben.
That was a nice prayer, though.
It was, yeah. It was really.
More that he's like, this was such an intelligent person
Yeah.
before Kilgrave got a hold of him.
Yep. I love his struggle to come back from it and his absolute faith in Jessica. And I'm Emma Fyffe. You can follow me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe. You can see me on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzzTV.com. And I do lots of things, but I also tweet a lot. So follow me on Twitter and you'll know all about it.
For these two episodes, aside from what I said, that we're getting so much about addiction to whether it's power, whether it's to an emotion, whether it's a physical thing like a drug
Or a person.
and It's very eye-opening and helps you treat the world a little bit better. And if you want to help treat me better, you can follow me on Twitter at SoapboxMark. Doing a whole bunch of stuff at AfterBuzz, as well as Popcorn Talk. Do Star Wars show. Ruby, Emma, you've been joining us on Ruby, and it's been fun and helping me take my mind off of this god-awful concept of a show that I absolutely love and can't stop watching.
And my final thoughts, there was a quote that stuck out to me from the bartender, the random bartender's filling in for Luke, who's like off doing what I'm assuming whatever he's going to be in Luke Cage the series.
Yes.
You know what happens when you burn a bridge? You got to learn how to swim. Or fly.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great quote and very like. And what did she do by the end of this episode? She learned to fly.
Yeah, sure.
And
very appropriate.
be sure to tune in, guys. This Wednesday, December 9th at 3 p.m. We'll be recapping episodes 9 and 10.
Thank God it's not a week.
Oh yeah, we're not waiting another week.
No.
The schedule for the rest of the series. Episodes 9 and 10 this Wednesday at 3 p.m. where we'll be taking a call from director
Rosemary Rodriguez,
director of episode 10. And then on Monday, December 14th at 3 p.m., we will have Wil Traval in studio to talk about episodes 11 and 12. And then on December 16th, Wednesday at 3 p.m., again, we will be talking about the finale, episode 13. That's our schedule for this show. So much to cover, and we're getting it done for you guys, making sure we have it before the holidays.
Merry Christmas!
I cannot wait that long.
Happy
Also, happy Donica, everyone.
And you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram in the meantime at Zach Wilson, ThatZachWilson, and also here at AfterBuzz a whole bunch of shows that said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. mid-season finale. Tomorrow night we just did the Doctor Who finale. Last night, minds are exploding. Until Wednesday, I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.